Okay, in case you missed the notes on point and slope, how to find an equation from a point and slope, I'm going to go back through them quickly, and they'll be posted here whenever you need them. So, if I give you a slope and a point that it goes through, we can treat it just like it was a table, but we have the added benefit of already knowing the slope. So this is a step-by-step procedure. The first, we're going to label our x and y in the point. Second, this is the substitution method, so we're going to substitute y, m, and x into the equation y equals mx plus b. The y is 8. The slope they provided was 1/2, and my x is 2. So I'm going to replace all of those into this equation and solve. So down here I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to go ahead and do the multiplication of 1/2 times 2, and I get 8 equals 1 plus b. To solve for b, I circle my variable, I get rid of the constant, and I end up with 7 equals b. So now that I have my m and my b, I get my m from the original problem. It's 1/2 x, and it's plus 7. And that is all there is to it. On the other side, we have the nth term method. This is the other method that I taught you, where we're just going to multiply the slope and the x value. So that's the first step. Multiply the x by the slope. So I'm going to multiply 2 times the slope of 1/2, and I get 1. This product should be the y value. So 2 times the slope, the x times the slope should be the y value, but it's not. It's a 1. So we have to figure out how we get from this 1 to that 8. And so the way I do that is I write down the 1 here and the y here, and I get 8 minus 1 equals 7. So that brings us to how exactly we got to this 1. And I'm going to create a formula for it. We multiplied m times x, and then we're subtracting this product from y. So really, to find b, it's this simple formula. b is y minus m times x. It only works if there is no coefficient for y, and we aren't dealing with any equations that have a coefficient for y. That'll come next year in algebra. So now that I have my b and my m, I can replace it into the I'm sorry, this is an m. My m is up here. Now that I have my slope and my y-intercept, I can plug it into the equation. The next method is for graphing. It's a little more difficult sometimes, but for those of you that are graphically or visually just do better visually, this would be a good method for you. So I'm going to take the point and the slope, and this time I'm going to graph it. So I'm going to plot the point. If this is 0, 0, then I find 4, negative 5 by going over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this is 0, 0, then this is the point 4, comma, negative 5. This isn't actually a point on this graph, that's just my starting point. So what I'm going to do is use the slope to create another point on the graph. So negative 3, 2 means my rise is negative 3 and my run is 2. So if I go down 3, 1, 2, 3, over 2, 1, 2, it creates my line. There are a couple of ways we can deal with graphing this equation. One of the problems of trying this method on the STAR test is you will not be given a straight edge. And so what I'm about to do is, on the STAR test, they do give you a paper that you can tear out of your STAR manual, the formula sheet, and some graphing paper. I would suggest you use the formula sheet. The back of it, I believe, will be blank. It has been in the last 2 years. And I folded this taco and then taco again, so it looks more like taquito than it does taco, or hot dog rather. So I line it up, I put my point on the bottom line, I line it up to the top line, and then I draw a line through the 2 points. Now in this case, I guess you can't really see, but it didn't quite go through it, but the closest point it comes to is that 1. So that means that my y-intercept is this 1 right here. If this point is 0, 1, then that's the 1. So if b equals 1 and my slope is -3/2, then I'll write my equation as y equals -3/2 x plus 1. There's another way that we could have done it. So if this rise over run, -3/2, means up 3 and right 2, that's what it means, then I can also switch it and go, I'm sorry, this means down 3, right 2. I can switch it up to be up 3 and left 2, and I have to do that with a negative. So if I go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 2, I'm trying to get back to the y-axis. So I'll keep doing that until I hit it. I don't think I went up 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Sorry, it should be on the line. And then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And that's how I can also get from this starting point of 4, 5, I go up 3 and back 2, and then I go up 3 and back 2, and I wind up at the y-intercept. So it should work either way.